Under exception C1. With that, I'd like roll call or recall to order the March 18, 2025 Waukegan Public School Board of Education special meeting. If I can have a roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez. Mr. Riddle.
Present.
Yes.
Ms. Lensing.
Yes.
President Ewing.
Yes, I am approved. Motion carries. There are, with that, opportunity for public comment. As a reminder, each individual gets 3 minutes. If you need translation will be provided, and you will get 6 minutes. We haven't started yet, Chief. Ms. Witherspoon? Attorney, or you wanted to be added to the list? Okay. All right, while she does that, I'll keep going. If you do want translation services will be provided to you. You'll get an additional 3 minutes to allow for the translation. We do ask that you refrain from mentioning student or staff member names in your remarks. Clocks are on the wall around you. Just waiting for the sheet to come back, and then we will get started. No worries.
It's okay.
Always talk about
You get it right.
phone, text, and
How are you doing?
First name on the list, I'll get started while she does that. Randy Sabecki. All right, Mr. Sabecki, whenever you start speaking.
All right, good evening, all. First, I wanted to congratulate the National Honor Society members, the seniors and the ones that were inducted, the sophomores and juniors. What was kind of disappointing, that nobody from top administration attended that event. All those kids and all their accomplishments, and nobody from the top administration even attended the event. That's why district calendars are so important. I reached out to some of the board members because besides Ms. Hannah, she was the only one there, but board member wise. That's why these district calendars are so important to know about these events, because some of the board members that I reached out to didn't even know about it. And then second thing I want to talk about is as a parent of a student at Jack Benny. Obviously there's something going on in the district that the principal hasn't been in the building 3 to 4 weeks, and nothing is said to the parents. Now we know how rumors get started. We don't like rumors, but when nobody says anything, that's how rumors get started. It affects the students when they notice the principal hasn't been there, and then they're hearing adults in the buildings talking about why they ain't there, starting rumors. That's how the rumors start. If there's an investigation going on, at least let the parents know there's an investigation going on. But to not say nothing to parents, but then I'm still getting emails from the principal and he's not even in the building, that concerns me as a parent. Because why am I getting emails if the principal's not even in the building and he's been out 3 to 4 weeks? That's where we talk about accountability, and that, the district should have put out some kind of statement to the parents, because that does affect the students. They notice it, and that's where all the gossip and the rumors start. That's all I got tonight. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Sabecki. Next name is listed as Chester.
Yes, talking about Friday Honor Society. My granddaughter was there. Very happy for her. But anyway, I talked to a gentleman on the board. I asked him why they always vote yes for Chicago. He says, well, you're not in the boardroom to look over the paperwork. So 288 meetings, everything's going perfect, right? There's nothing wrong. Yes, yes, yes. Go to Las Vegas, 40 people. Spend over $400,000. For what? What do you bring back to the children? The children are failing. In fact, Science, 31%. ELA, 17%. Math is 11%. And folks and parents, if you want to know what the administrators make, you go to District 60, employee compensation. Let's see what else. So we need Anita Hanner back on the board, and we also need Randy on the board to help out, because Chicago cannot have it, all 7 saying yes all the time. And Anita is the one that always talks about reading. In fact, they came up here and gave her a award about always talking about reading. Thank you.
Thank you. Ray Vukovic.
Good evening. You all need to apologize to every person in this room, because it is extremely unprofessional. Your calendar says on this Tuesday you have 2 committee meetings starting at 6 o'clock. But somebody up there decided to shoehorn a special meeting in starting at 6 p.m. and you've got a room full of employees that are here. You've got contractors and other folks that set their calendar to come here, yet you set an agenda to have a special meeting and you thought you could get it done in a half an hour. Now, I know enough about the Open Meetings Act. I know that the section that you had the closed meeting about has to do with personnel. Then you look under personnel, it appears that you're looking to demote somebody and then possibly fire somebody. So the superintendent and your lawyer thought that you could get this done in 30 minutes. 30 minutes, that's whatever this problem was, you thought you could get it done in 30 minutes. Why didn't you meet at 5 o'clock and then let these people come at 6 o'clock and do their regular business? Highly unprofessional, and to everybody here, I say I'm sorry for their conduct. Now we've got, 3 board candidates out here. I hope that, there's a good possibility 1 or more of you could be sitting up there here next month. I hope that you will hold the administration to show a little professional courtesy to their co-workers and the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vukovic. Ray Edwards.
Well, unfortunately, Mr. Vukovic, everybody ain't gonna hold him accountable because some of them was handpicked to run. What's confusing to me, and I'm gonna have to, push back a little bit, not push back, but push forward with what Randy said, Honor Society. All of those kids being nominated, right? What Ray just said, all of your staff, contractors and stuff sitting here waiting on y'all. We still ain't did no real celebration for the accomplishment of what them boys did on that basketball court. They brought over 4,000 people together in this community. Do y'all not understand why people don't want to go to school here? Why people don't want to work here? The things y'all do, that's the perception. It's always an excuse why you can't tell us something. I don't need the details, but to just not tell us nothing? We put y'all in them seats to advocate and speak on behalf of us. How dare you not have a conversation with us about our business, our kids, our community? I don't know if anybody really realized if a school district is not performing, the city would be horrible. I had to sit down yesterday and I had to go back on YouTube to look at some things. And I noticed that the last scores and stuff that was talked about, it was done at a board meeting during an election year. Oh boy, y'all cold-blooded. And I don't think everybody else read that. But I sit up late at night, 2, 3 in the morning when it's quiet outside so that I can think. I'm asking the people that I know up there, that I've known for some years, Mr. Riddle, Mr. McBride, Miss Hannah, And even you, Mr. Ewing, what are we doing? What do y'all have to be proud of? What can you say you have done for these babies and this community? Because the scores says something differently. And unfortunately, Ms. Hannah, this ain't individual testing. Because when we look at y'all, we see a board.
I get it.
It's a team.
Unfortunate.
And that's unfortunate. But I ask y'all, when do y'all tell this community something? Wow.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Ms. Witherspoon?
In America, voicing our opinion and being able to speak up in meetings such as this, is crucial to our society. There's a saying that the old folk used to say, you know, actually it was coined by Dr. Martin Luther King: justice anywhere is injustice everywhere. Again, not to piggyback off of what these gentlemen said, but you guys really need to take a serious look at what's going on in your school district. I can't talk about anything else, but let me tell you, like I said before, last weekend when I was here, my kids grew up in Waukegan Public Schools. They graduated from Waukegan. I am appalled at the lack of respect that's being shown for the teachers as well as for the kids when justice is not being given freely or regularly like it should, like you're supposed to be teaching. You don't have to worry about me coming here anymore. I tried to say, hey, let's partner together. Let's get this, let's work together to get stuff done. Every time I'm rejected, and every time somebody ends up hurting because of the lack of I don't want to say morals, lack of information that you should be receiving. I really suspect that you guys really don't know what's going on. And it's incumbent, we elect you. We elect all of you in the hopes, in the hopes and the authority, hopefully, that you have to ask questions. Don't just listen to what somebody says because they said it. You need to research this. This is why you were elected. It's to look out for the kids, the employees, the teachers, the administrators, everybody here. You guys have a hard job, and I recognize that. But it comes to a point where all you can do is say, oh, well, I tried. And me, I'm the woman that's eternally optimistic, but I'm not anymore. I deal with school districts all across the state of Illinois. I've never dealt with a school district like this before. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Witherspoon. This concludes the public comment. We appreciate all those who came and spoke out. We are now at our personnel, so it's a proposed reclassification and non-renewal assistant principal.
It is recommended that the Board of Education initiate the proposed reclassification and non-renewal of the middle school assistant principal identified in the immediately preceding closed session, and that the superintendent be authorized and directed to issue a written notices to such administrator substantially in the form of X.A. shared in closed session.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Riddle, seconded by Ms. Fabian. Any comments or questions on the motion?
I am really asking that this matter be held over and until the board is given more information in relation to the person that is being brought before for renewal, and there's an investigation going on, and I just think that after the investigation is over, that is when the board should take action. And so I am asking that this item be held over, and I am hoping it can be considered.
Is that a motion, Ms. Hannah, that you're making?
I'm asking for it to be held over.
So you're making a motion that it be
For it to be held over.
a second?
Have a motion on the table. Is anybody removing or rescinding their original motion?
Can we go over the consequences of not, if we do hold it over?
Go ahead, Ms.
We are on a
Vanderbrand.
timeline.
There is a notice that needs to be provided by April 1st. If you hold it over this evening, another special meeting would need to be called in order to take this action, or you forego the opportunity.
And we also forego we do not give opportunity to hear the other's perspective, correct?
This is following a statutory procedure.
Correct.
So we can't hear the other side unless this goes through. Is that what you're saying?
Procedurally, the statute, if you are looking to reclassify certain
Or
individuals,
renew.
principals, or assistant principals, the statute requires the board to issue the proposed notice by April 1st, after which the individual is provided an opportunity for a private hearing, and if they remain dissatisfied, they can have a hearing in public. That's the procedure.
And it's after the fact that the board votes.
We can't change that statute now.
This vote is to initiate the process. It is not a final decision.
All right, so seeing that neither one is able to rescind or willing to rescind their original motion.
Okay, but I wanted for the record that I requested for this item to be held over.
Yes, ma'am. Are there any other questions related to the original motion?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not astute with law, but I do believe that there are amendments and other reservations that can be made to deal with this matter in a way that it can be done righteously in the right way. And as Ms. Hannah has spoken, I agree with her because as a board member sitting there, there's things that I should know that I don't even know pertaining to this issue. And just because of that, for me to be able to make a decision about uncertainties, it's not fair for me to just say yes to anything that I got some concerns about.
I didn't know if Mr. Riddle wanted to say something.
Oh, go ahead. Ms. Fabian, I recognize you first, then Mr. Riddle.
I just want to be clear that this is not a final action and that we are following procedure through school code. And so, yes, we are board members and we all did receive information today. I don't want to sit up here and pretend that we're making an uninformed decision. The final decision, we will have more information. And at that time, we can reconsider the outcome.
How do you make a decision without having all of the information? That's the question.
Yeah. Well, I guess that was explained to us in closed session that statutorily it's not the best thing, but we are held to a April the 1st deadline when we have administrators. And so, you know, it seems clear to me that in order to get what Ms. Hannah is asking for, we have to take action tonight. Otherwise, we preclude hearing either side or the other side. So it seems to me that we have to carry this action. So That's the way it was explained. It's happened before in the district that we've had administrators, and if you don't take action,
When?
then you have to decide what you're going to do with that administrator, whether you're going to give them another administrative position, but your options then are not there. You've closed the door to further options. So it seems to me that I understand that we have to take action tonight. Yes, we don't have all the facts, but we have enough facts to take the action that's requested because of the statute.
Have the
Absolutely.
facts. Mm.
So I guess we call the question, Mr. President?
I haven't made up my mind. The
All right.
thing that's
'Cause
fresh,
I want it held over.
you do, but you didn't get your motion in first,
Well, I
Ms.
got
Hannah.
the motion.
But we had a motion on the floor, and they won't withdraw their motion. So as the previous board president, you do know procedurally
I know.
that we get. So I don't want to make it seem like we're not following procedure. What I will say is, this is to the community, right? Anything time dealing with personnel, it limits what we can say. What I will say is that I am disappointed to again be in this situation where there seems to be a level of ambiguity between the board and between the community. And at this point, it continues to be a concern, more than a concern. We moved past the concern. It speaks to the overall culture, and you guys haven't heard me say that word a ton, but a culture in which everything and all disagreements between the adults and the staff, much of it, not all, ends up becoming some type of circus. And so while I cannot go into the details, and I wouldn't out of respect for that employee, we've been provided with certain information. I hope that the truth comes out, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and I will stand on the side of whoever is right in that situation for as long as I sit on this dais. But it's been explained to the community that there is a statute to the board, and I'm acting under the advisement of council with the decision that I make. And so what will happen is the board will take the vote. Whatever the vote it is will be. If the board votes no, it is dropped. If the board majority votes in the affirmative, then there are other, I don't want to call them protections, but is that the correct term? Procedural steps in the process in order to remedy. And I do apologize, Ms. Witherspoon, but public comment has ended. Roll call.
Mr. McBride.
No.
Ms. Fabian.
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez. Mr. Riddle.
Yes.
Ms. Hannah.
No.
Ms. Lensing. President Ewing.
Ms. Lensing is.
Ms. Lensing.
Yes, with the understanding that the statute requires approval in order to hear the indicated individual's side in order for the board to make a comprehensive decision.
President Ewing.
Yes, item approved, motion carries. All right, with that, I'd like a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Riddle, seconded by Ms. Fabian. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed,
Aye.
nay? Meeting is adjourned. If we can take a 5-minute recess before continuing with our meeting. right, it is 7:42. Again, I'd like to call the February 18th, March 18th, 2025 Waukegan Public School Board of Education meeting. I'd like to call the March 18th, 2025 Student Achievement Committee meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. McBride.
Yes.
Mr. Riddle.
Yes.
Ms. Hannah.
Yes.
Ms. Gonzalez. Ms. Fabian.
Present.
Ms. Lensing. President Ewing.
Yes. We do have a quorum. Ms. Lensing had to drop. She's actually, we appreciate her dedication. She's at outdoor education, so she was up in supervising a bunch of fifth graders from Cook Elementary School with her kiddos, so she was able to call in for closing our previous open session, but she did let me know that she'll be watching online, and Ms. Gonzalez was under the weather, but we do have the remaining 5 of our board members, so we are good to proceed. Item 3A, approval of the February 18th, 2025 minutes. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr.
Second.
Riddle, seconded by Ms. Fabian. Any comments or questions on the motion? Corrections to the minutes? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. And first item, we have a discussion item, which is the Yman Creek presentation. So if you want to kick us off.
Yes. Good evening, members of the board, superintendent, staff, and community. Thank you for being with us this evening. The first agenda item on the student achievement agenda is some information for the board and the public regarding some community engagement regarding the Yman Creek power cells. You're going to get a presentation this evening from some representatives from Power Market, who Clean Capital is engaged with to do the cells and the advertising. We have with us this evening Mr. Ryan Libby, Mr. Christian Thompson, and Mr. Nick Bodwin. I do want to inform the board, this is attached in the agenda item. There is a separate summary attachment that does confirm the schedule of mechanical completion by May 31st of 2025, as well as placed in service date for the Yman site of June 27th, 2025. So with that, I'll ask the representatives from Power Market to come up and provide the information. And then if you could please, if you have any questions, please save them to the end of the presentation.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having us. I'm here to talk about Yman Creek Community Solar Project. My name is Nick Bodwin, and I'll be switching with a couple of my colleagues here. We'll be playing a little bit of musical chairs as we walk you through the agenda. We're going to be talking about the project and construction overview, some of the enrollment and engagement process, timeline, and some of our key partnerships in the community. Right, so you can go to the next slide. Cool, so the Yman Creek Solar Farm is 9.2 megawatts, about 1,000 residential customers, subscribers. As it says 10-1, but we are looking, I think that's a very conservative estimate, so it's a large project right in Yman Creek. 50% of the project is going to go to residential households, while 40% is going to go to an anchor subscriber, a large institutional off-taker, and then 10% is going to go to a critical service provider, local organizations and the like. So this is part of the Illinois Solar for All. You'll hear us say ILSFA, but Illinois Solar for All. It is to expand access to renewable energy, in this case specifically solar. This project is best in its class, meaning that it's the highest discount in Illinois right now. Subscribers will get a 50% discount on the electricity generated. You know, keeping it all in Waukegan here, it was a commitment made by Clean Capital to make sure that, you know, we're providing maximum benefit to the community. So I don't want to explain anything that you already know, so I'll be very quick here. The Yman Solar, this is how community solar works in the slide deck here. So Yman Creek, it's going to generate solar, it's going to go into the grid, and subscribers will receive bill credits for being a part of that project. So instead of, think about a traditional rooftop solar, you have one household with one solar project. Over 50% of the US population cannot do traditional rooftop solar. Community solar breaks those barriers down to make it so that everyone can participate in community solar. So a large project is built, Yman Creek, and all the subscribers will see a bill credit, and it will be a virtual connection, if you will. Just by subscribing, they'll get up to 50% discount off their off the credits that have been generated, providing a direct benefit. Nothing needs to be put on any of our subscribers' homes, so there's no infrastructure, there's no maintenance that needs to happen. Therefore, apartment dwellers can be a part of the project. You don't have to own your home. If you have a big old tree in front of your property, you don't have to chop it down. Christian, you want to come up here? I'll introduce Christian from Clean Capital, or you can introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Christian Thompson. I'm a senior construction project manager with Clean Capital, and I'm going to talk briefly about the construction process. This is a unique project for us with the consideration that it's a closed landfill. With that being said, it's approximately a 9.2 megawatt DC project, and that's just short of 17,000 solar panels. I mentioned it's special in the sense that it doesn't go underground, so it uses ballasted foundations for the racking. Everything is above grade so that we do not penetrate the cap. And it's a community solar project. It's connected to the ComEd lines, which then feed directly to the local grid. There's a lot of construction protocols on this project that we're taking very seriously. To start, there's been detailed calculations to show that the array itself, the weight of the equipment, the entire system will not negatively impact the landfill cap. And that also is the case for construction equipment in the short term. While we're bringing in equipment and putting weight on the cap temporarily, that has been calculated as well to not have an impact. We're using specialized equipment with low ground pressure so as to protect the cap as well. And we have strict procedures regarding simple things like rutting. So a lot of times rutting is not a big deal, but on this project it is. So we take things like rutting seriously and make sure that we get the grass stabilized and get it back to normal as soon as possible. With that, we also have a commitment to minimal disturbance with regard to neighboring properties and the community. It's the goal to make the project as successful as possible and have as minor an impact to the community and as maximum of benefit as possible. Talking a little bit about the construction status, we kicked off in early spring. We've got gravel going down for temporary roads, and we actually have steel racking coming tomorrow morning. That's what's going to hold the solar panels in the air above the landfill cap, essentially. Then the solar panels will come in later next month, which will be attached to the steel racking, and then the wiring falls in suit to the point where this summer we have an energized system that's connected to the grid. We then go through electrical commissioning over the course of 4 to 12 weeks, get it to the point with IPA that we're a generating power facility just like any other on their grid, and they can rely on us for power and for safety. So what we're doing now is starting the civil work. What we're doing soon is the racking work, and then we'll be doing electrical work.
In terms of enrollment and engagement, my company Power Market has made it so it's very easy for everyone to sign up, and we have to start with who's eligible. There are two ways to see who is eligible in meeting the 80% of area medium income. Clean Capital has committed to bringing on 100% of the residential subscribers at the 80% area medium income threshold. So there's two ways that we ensure you're eligible. One is census tract. We take a look at a map that we'll show you on the next slide, and another one is participation in energy assistance programs, SNAP, Medicaid, LIHEAP, et cetera. So the good news is that roughly 90% of Waukegan is in this census map. So we won't have to look for energy assistance programs on bills. Simply, if you fall under the map, you are eligible to be a part of the project. The other 10% on the bottom there, we're going to talk to ILSFA and see if we can get an updated map or the reasoning behind the remaining 10%, hopefully making that, we're breaking down all the barriers for people to be able to participate in this program. If you're in Waukegan, we want to make it so you can join this project very easily and see the savings of that 50% that we were talking about. So when it comes to the enrollment process, if you are going to sign up for the project, we want to make it so that it's very seamless. So just providing us with address, utility information, and then there's a couple documents to let ILSFA and ComEd know that you want to be a part of this process. It takes a couple minutes, and we make sure that it's as intuitive as possible, really making it so that we can expand that accessibility to as many people that want to be a part of that clean energy transition. So to get people engaged with the project, we're going to be providing some events. In the past, we're in 13 states for community solar, and we've done events with housing authorities, community groups, municipalities, and we work directly with the community. These events are there not just to sign people up, but most importantly, to make sure that people understand the program. We are incredibly transparent, and these events are for educational purposes as well, awareness that you can sign up, how to sign up, and so that everyone can understand what they're signing up for. In addition to, we do some community-driven events. So we work at, we table and talk to the community with resource fairs, Earth Day events, community block parties, a whole slew of different events there. When it comes to mailers, we want to make sure we do mailers in the right way. We know that that's a great way to kind of disseminate information to the community. But we only do mailers when we work directly with municipalities, those community groups, LIHEAP partners, so that it's not just, it's a trusted source. We want to make sure that we're speaking to the community and not just putting out a mailer, but co-branding it to make sure that everyone getting those mailers know that it's from the municipality, it's from your community groups, as a very viable way to get 50% off your bill. And then finally, when it comes to customer support, Power Market, we're there to manage the project and administer the project. That means the 1,000 people that will join the project. We're going to be there on the back end, making sure that everyone's happy, everyone understands the program, and if they have any sort of questions, they reach out. Our support team is incredible. We are highly rated on Google, as you can see there. We are there to make sure that people see savings and understand everything. So our customer support team is a very knowledgeable group that have been with our company for a very long time. So always happy to talk about them. I'm going to bring Ryan up to talk about the engagement timeline. Go ahead.
Thank you, Nick, and a big thank you to the board for hosting us, as well as for all the hard work that's gone in putting this program together so far. My name is Ryan. I'm the Director of Subscriber Acquisition. My role is largely in the on-the-ground work and relationships that help spread awareness and inform residents about programs like this. I'll be walking y'all through what the engagement timeline is going to look like and what you can kind of expect to see in the coming months. Getting started with the next slide, or with a quick overview, our target enrollment completion date is October 1st. This deadline gives us enough time to hit a target of somewhere around 1,000 residential subscribers. That 1,000 number is a little bit rough. It could be higher or lower. It depends on what the usage looks like for the average resident. If it's a lot of studio apartments, or if it's a lot of single-family homes, it might be more, it might be less. To help us with that deadline, we're breaking the project into phases. There are goals associated with that we can measure internally, so that we can make sure that we're putting the right effort in to the program. The first phase is where we'll see the most excitement. This is going to be a period of celebration and kind of promoting the project as this long building project finally reaching the stage where people can start to sign up and enroll. We're already in communication and have a relationship with Cap Lake County, the local LIHEAP administrator. They're eager to help connect their program participants with this program. We'll also look to set up a kickoff meeting in the community with members of the city as well as with staff at the school and begin to establish an initial presence at community events around Earth Month, as well as like spots where we'll likely run into people who could benefit the most from this program. Then as we go into June and July, there are some additional steps we'll take. This is where we'll start to use mailers to make sure more people are aware of the program. The Department of Energy also has a new tool to allow LIHEAP agencies to better share programs like this with their participants. We'll be looking to use that, as well as just continue our presence at community events. And then going into August and September, the final phase of our campaign, this will be more of a focus on summer events, whether it be block parties, back to school resource fairs, and similar things, as well as just a final round of our own driven events to help reach the final target for enrollment. As people enroll, there'll be a timing for the credits to start hitting their ComEd bills. The farm is currently under construction with the expectation that it'll go, or with an estimated completion date later this year. As it goes live within 2 billing cycles, the program participants will see credits start to hit their ComEd bill. As you know, they'll enroll up front, and then as it progresses, they'll continue to get communication and updates from us, informing them on how the project is going and keeping them updated on when they can start to expect to see the benefits from the program. As we work with the community, we'll work and emphasize the community element of this part by building relationships with organizations within the community. I've kind of highlighted some of the, next slide. This is an example of some of the organizations we've worked with in the past across our work across the country. But as we've looked to focus in on Waukegan and identify who to work with in the community, you can skip ahead to the next slide. We'll be looking to work with the school. This is a great program that y'all can really help celebrate as finally coming through. And we'll look to find great ways to engage, inform students and parents about this new program that they can enroll in to get help on their utility bill. Additionally, I've talked about our relationship with Cap Lake County. The city of Waukegan is also eager to support this program and promote it. And we have a great track record of working with municipalities to engage their communities. Lastly, the CEJA programs. For those unaware, the CEJA programs are a workforce development program in Illinois to help build a new workforce of clean energy, in the clean energy industry. The Lake County and the Community Works are both participating. We've reached out to both organizations already to talk about ways where we can connect the dots and help their participants also get engaged in the program. And then lastly, we're also looking to engage with Spanish language community groups as well as houses of worship. These are all organizations we've worked with in the past in different communities. We see as critical to helping make sure the most people are informed. Beyond that, we'll be looking at maybe some strategic hires in the community to help spread the word, people who are connected and tapped in, who can help raise awareness inside the community. But as we go forward, we have experience working in Illinois, and these are some of the anticipated challenges and solutions we'll be looking to handle up front. Partner bandwidth is a big one. As we work with these nonprofits and organizations, they're gonna have priorities. I'm sure y'all have a big docket of things to cover too. Our goal is always to keep it simple, and if we work with a nonprofit where we maybe need additional assistance, make sure that there's compensation and resources provided to help. There's also a challenge with a lot of confusion about different utility programs out there. In particular, alternative retail energy suppliers, or ARIES, are something unique to Illinois. Everyone I talk to has likely had someone approach them at Walmart, show up at their door, talking about getting them onto a program for their ComEd bill. A lot of the sentiment is that these programs aren't a great deal for ComEd customers. Very often they come with additional fees. Community solar like this program is very different than an ARIES. Community solar is tied to a specific farm in the community with the explicit goal of reducing people's utility bill, whereas an Aries is buying power from all over the country and may result in higher costs for a subscriber. So as we talk with folks, a big part of the outreach and what we find is most important is making sure they're aware. We have partners at the Citizens Utility Board, one of the preeminent watchdogs for utilities. They've done a great job putting together educational materials, explaining the difference. They've been critical of Aries, but are huge supporters of the community solar industry in Illinois. So for next steps, what people can expect in the coming days, we're currently in the final stages of wrapping up the subscriber enrollment process with the Illinois Solar for All team. Once that's done, we're going to start doing some initial events with Cap Lake to make sure the enrollment process is working solidly, and then from there start scheduling our initial community events to help raise awareness and get people engaged in the program. But again, a big thank you to everyone who's worked on this project and supported it so far. This is an open call to anyone in the community that wants to help and support. They can reach me directly. I'd be more than happy to talk with folks. And with that, we can open up to questions. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ms. Anna.
You know.
Microphone, Ms. Anna.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You know, there's been solicitations and so forth in the communities before, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if you sign up for this solar service, right? Now, I heard you say that ComEd, okay? So will ComEd still be the primary supplier for the electricity?
Yes. Their relationship with ComEd will continue as it is. They will not need to, set up a new billing account or anything like that with us. Once they enroll in the program, the only thing that changes is a line item will be added showing the discounted credits applied right to their ComEd bill. They'll continue to pay their ComEd bill same as they currently do, and will still be able to participate in any programs like energy assistance that they already do through their ComEd bill. So there is no disruption to their experience with their power or with ComEd.
Thank you. Mr. Riddle.
Thank you.
Okay, first I'd like to thank you very much and everybody from Clean Capital and Power Market, because the board has been waiting for this for a long time, and we are excited to find out actually I was excited because I was at Sunset House a few weeks back, and lo and behold, the trucks were moving in and things were happening there, and I said, oh my gosh, we're really seeing some work starting to take place. As our students know, solar is the way of the future, solar energy. We do have solar on about 7 of our schools right now, but we haven't had the chance to apply, people in Waukegan to really get, some of them have put solar on top of their roofs, but this is something that you said everyone, especially the people in the census tract, if the way I understood you to say that, if they're in that blue census tract, they just need to verify that they live in that area, and they will be able to apply for this community solar. And can they actually do that online? Will they be able to, or they can actually do it online?
Yeah,
Yes.
our enrollment process is designed to make it easy for folks
Yes.
to apply and enroll at home.
Okay.
They'll have to verify address, provide some ComEd info. There's some forms they'll need to sign off digitally. We'll also make sure we're present at local events for folks that aren't digitally savvy.
And help them do that. Will they have to bring, I heard you say, eligible participation in the income, they have to have income-based, certain income level. Will they have to show SNAP, Medicaid, those sort of things? I wasn't clear whether they would have to bring that with them.
Only if they live outside of one of the blue census tracts.
Outside of the blue census tract,
Yeah,
okay.
the blue census tracts, the population in those tracts, 50% or more
Yes.
fall below 80% of the area median income, which is why they're automatically eligible.
Wonderful.
But outside of that, they'll just
Right.
need some additional paperwork.
It's a terrific program, and then as I heard you say, I already belong to a community solar program, and it doesn't provide anywhere near 50%.
Yeah.
So will people that are already on a community solar be able to switch to this because of where they live in Waukegan?
Yes.
They will.
The way community solar is set up in Illinois is it allows people to leave programs and move to new ones. They should check with their existing community solar program to figure out what the process is
Right.
for leaving. And they may want to be considerate about, like I do, the timing around
Yes.
them. There's usually a notice period you have to give if you're leaving.
Right, right. And then my other question, and it's an important one, is the school district is getting, from what I understand, some rent for the land that we own. But we would like to be with one of the anchors, it says in your program, 1 or 2 anchor subscribers. And of course, we have a lot of electricity use. We have only a few buildings. We have about 22 or more, 25, 26 buildings total. Only about 7 of them have any solar on them. So would we be considered as could we negotiate with you to be one of the anchor subscribers to reduce our energy use?
Absolutely. Like, we'd love to prioritize y'all as a potential anchor for this program, considering the land, it's your land, and it provides a great benefit to the
Right.
public by reducing utility costs for the school.
Okay, so you'll probably be talking with Mr. Briner back there about that, because we want to certainly jump in and be one of the subscribers to that program.
Yeah.
So that we get in on the ground floor and don't get booted out by a couple other, I'm not sure what big other subscribers would want to get in, possibly the city, but we'd like to get in as well.
Yeah, we'll work to make sure y'all are prioritized with the program and give you a
Excellent. So I'm
clear
really
timeline.
excited about this, and we want to help you advertise this to our families, because we want to give them an opportunity to get on board and save energy. And I think it's great as well that it's being offered to all families, even those that are renting, an apartment or whatever, reduce their electrical bill by up to a half. Now, would that change? You say up to 50%. In the summer or when it's not cloudy, the solar is generating more, but then when it's generating less, if it snowed just recently, the snow hasn't melted off those solar panels, is that when it goes down a little bit?
You can expect some variance throughout the course of the year. When we assign a share of the program to users, we look at their average electricity usage over the last year and try to map it out to make sure the credits are allocated appropriately. There can be some seasonal variance with it. They might see more savings over the summer months and fewer savings over the winter. Over the course of the year, though, they should see that 50% credit on and it should be reflective of the supply portion of someone's bill.
And I just want to clarify too for the public, and I want you to clarify. I mean, there's some families have been solicited by vendors, and they don't want to get hooked with having to pay for these solar things afterwards. So can you assure us and our families that, one, families are not going to pay any upfront costs to sign up to this program, and secondly, they're not going to pay any costs at the back end either. So it's a free program, and if they move, they're not going to get stuck with getting off of this program, right? If they move to another apartment, can they take this with them, or they buy a house? They rent an apartment. Can they take this thing with them as long as they're still in Waukegan?
Yeah, we've got a few questions there. The first one is the question of fees, penalties, or costs. There's absolutely no cost to signing up, and there are no penalties if somebody were to drop the program or move and close out their ComEd account. That's largely thanks to great legislative action from Illinois in setting this program up, making sure it's as accessible and available to residents that can benefit from it the most. So those rules are set in stone by ILSFA and Illinois. Regarding moving, if someone were to move within Waukegan and stay with ComEd, they'd be able to move the service at it. They'd need to connect with us and let us know so we can help them migrate it over, but someone would still be eligible. If they move outside of Waukegan, we do have other programs similar to this that aren't location-based. We can help them get access to one of those if they're eligible.
Okay, my final question is, with the solar, community solar that I'm on right now, I have to pay them something monthly, but then they give me a credit, and usually the credit is quite a bit more than what I've just paid for that month. So are people going to have to pay something monthly to you?
Not at all. This
at all?
program will exclusively exist on their ComEd bill. What you're referring to is what we call a dual bill program,
Yes.
which is older community solar farms are in that spot. When it comes to, especially for programs that are designed for low to moderate income households, we're talking about communities that may be underbanked or may not have the same digital savviness. And so it's very important for programs like that to just exist on the ComEd bill. So someone won't have to worry about a separate bill at all on this project. They'll just see it reflected right on their ComEd bill and be able to track it month to month there.
Okay, it's my final question. It sounds too good to be true. So those people that are skeptical, how is your company making money putting this on? Because you're not charging the district to install these solar panels.
Yeah.
Can you explain to the public or to us, how does a company like yours do this without charging either the subscriber or the school district? So who's paying the cost?
Who's paying the cost? Yeah, this is a really common question, and skepticism is perfectly fine. When I come in, my job is very much telling people, hey, I'm here to help reduce your electric bill, and I run into it all over the place. The way this program works is the portion of their bill that goes to buying power is being allocated to this project. So they don't have to pay us just by paying their ComEd bill. They're compensated that. Because solar power is so much cheaper than traditional energy sources, it allows the Illinois to use one of the cheapest sources of power to help families in need.
It sounds fabulous. And I have one other question, and this is an important one too. We have 17,000 students here, and solar is indeed not the way of the future, it's the way now, and it needs to be continued. How can you guys help us teach our children about solar? Is there going to be any availability for our teachers, for instance, to take some of the kids to see this solar, the way it works? Is there any kind of educational materials that you'll be able to give to teachers so that they can say, hey kids, this is what your family is getting and this is why it's happening, why these solar panels work? Will there be an opportunity for kids to visit this solar site?
That's not something we've discussed so far, but I'm all for it if it makes sense and it can be done safely for the kids. Speaking personally, I'm an old science class nerd from high school, and the thing that changed my life and put me on an environmental career path was visiting a brownfield on a field trip. So I'd love to help coordinate education and access to kids across the school.
Mr. Briner's the man you want to talk to because he's been an educator for many years, and he's got a heart for kids hearing about this and learning about it. So yes, talk to him and talk to any one of us on the board as well. Thank you so much for this presentation.
I got Mr. Edwards, then I have Mr. McBride, and then Miss Fabian. The presentation's over, but...
How you doing, sir?
Doing
so I want to
fantastic.
ask a question because I hear you talking about it. You saying it's free, right? So when we say free, we no cost, right? Riddle asks most of the questions. Is there equipment that you have to give to the families?
None whatsoever.
So
Yeah.
when you saying if they move, it'll transfer over, what do that look like? Because again, you've heard them say many people knock on our door. I just had somebody
Yeah.
in my community today about this, right? And the first thing we do is say no thank you and close our door, right?
Yeah.
When will we see the changes in our bill? Would that be immediate, or is we looking a couple of months down the line?
Yeah, it depends on when you enroll. For the credits to start applying to bills, the farm needs to go live. It's currently under construction. People will be able to save a space in the program now, and as soon as the farm is done later this year, they'll see credits appear on their bill within 2 months of the completion date.
Okay.
And you had a question about equipment. There's no equipment necessary for this. It's done directly through their ComEd bill.
And so we'll see the changes on the bill. Okay, and so you guys are willing to come to the community and really be detailed with educating the community about this, and not just sending us all of this information for us to navigate through this. And also just some advice to you guys. When we do this, maybe it'd be helpful if you guys come and help walk people through the process of setting it up, right? Whatever that looks like, even when we're talking about navigating through the system that you guys are putting up.
Absolutely. That's a big part of the engagement, and a big part of our outreach in communities is finding ways to connect with people directly. It helps so much more if somebody's there to answer your questions and explain how the program works. And a lot of people are great at handling things online, but if you're not, that means you might be excluded if someone isn't there to help you. And we're here to make sure we step up and make the program accessible to folks in the community.
Okay, thank you guys. You guys did a great job with your presentation. And real quick, Mr. Riddle, I need this energy when we're talking about our kids.
Oh, yes.
Because you was fired up right now.
Oh, yeah.
You were on fire. I want this same energy when we're talking about grades and we're talking about our kids, sir. Respectfully. Thank you.
All right.
Mr. McBride.
My question, sir. I'm waiting till Ray get done. You done with it?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta wait till I get his attention, Brad. He's over there somewhere.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
You back with me? Okay. My question, who's not eligible? Because you keep saying the eligibility. Who's not eligible? That's what I like to know.
Yeah, so Illinois Solar for All was designed by the state to provide this discount to families that could benefit from it the most. ILSFA has defined that as people who are 80% of the area median income or less, or people who live in one of the census tracts that I outlined. As long as you're a resident of Waukegan and can fit either of those two other criteria, you're eligible. If you fall out, say you live outside of the Waukegan area, you can enroll in another community solar program instead.
So I asked the question, who's not eligible? So you said that census tract, that blue census tract you showed, where is that location at?
Yeah.
But I'm asking, what area in Waukegan is that location?
All of it, right?
Most of it. About 90% of Waukegan residents live in one of those tracts. But there is I don't know if it's there should be a link. Yeah, there's a link on the slides that takes you right to an interactive map you can plug your own address into.
You can look your address.
Mr. McBride is also part of the township, and there may be an opportunity to collaborate in order to make sure the township residents are aware of the program.
Which is right, but I was just still trying to. Well, I guess I got to look at this map. I'm not a map savvy, but I'm curious about where this area is, because number one, I hear the word SNAP, and I hear the word benefits, and I guess if you're a high income level, you ain't no SNAP. You can't get it. And so NAPS is really targeted towards individuals that's, should I say, lack of income, and pretty much minority, so to speak. And I think Ray asked the question was it free? And it's hard for me to see somebody coming into the community giving anything free without no benefits involved on the other end. It's just hard for me to see that. And I know for myself, I'm on a budget. How would that affect me? And I got on the budget because, again, it helps me save money on my utility. How would that affect me being on a budget? Would I qualify?
Yeah, so it sounds like you're referring to a budget billing option where you pay the same amount month to month.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then annually ComEd updates it. What we usually see for budget billing folks is they still get the discount, but because the solar power can vary throughout the year, more in the summer and less in the winter, your budget billing option effectively becomes your ceiling. And then throughout the year, you'll pay a little bit or a lot more or less, depending on how many credits are being paid. So you'll still be able to do your budget billing option. You'll just see a variance in terms of the amount of discount you get each month. Just think of the budget billing that you pay now is kind of acting as the ceiling.
Well, I know how the budget building works, because number one, you pay on the front end to help you out on the long end.
Yeah.
That's how the budget engine works. But again, I still just kind of, it's hard for me to see somebody getting something free.
Well,
It's just really hard. I mean,
and I
maybe
want you, no, it's not
That's what I
free.
wanted to
It's a government program, so you all are being compensated.
Well, that's what I figured it was a government program, but the question was asked how you guys benefit this and where was the money coming from? That never was said.
No, that's why I want to be transparent in that.
But also the program is
pays
free,
for
the
itself.
electricity and the energy is not.
Mm.
So you're still paying, you're not getting free electricity or energy.
But if you didn't have those indigenous people that you're talking about with SNAP and all them benefits, you wouldn't be able to do this. That's my point.
Yeah,
It's like so many other things that goes on in terms of federal money that's being given out to minority communities. You wouldn't be able to do that if you didn't have those, I want to use the word, I'm just simple, poor people involved.
Yeah, I think maybe in that we can come, I don't even want to say come back, but I like that Mr. McBride is the legislation that he talked about. So the Clean Energy Jobs Act in Illinois is they are putting, it was Illinois' legislature's way to address, solar, clean energy, as Mr. Riddle talked about the future, and make sure that low to moderate income communities were able to access those programs and those benefits, as well as the jobs that come along with those. So you talked about some organizations that they're already partnered up with that are doing work in this area. And we have, I know Rita Mayfield is one who was a big champion of the legislation. So like you said, it sounds too good to be true, and we can have more information as we come along. But I think what you said is, like, even yourself or people who necessarily aren't considered low to moderate income, think of it the same way that we do our lunch program. There are some people in Waukegan that would not qualify for free or reduced lunch, but because more than 60% of our students do, then everybody does. And again, up to 90% based on that, that would, I can see the map be a vast majority of Waukegan residents, including where majority of the township resides. I see you, Mr. Vukovic. Ms. Fabian's been waiting, and then we'll come right to you. Go ahead.
So I did click on your links, and I saw some of them were translated. This is
Can
one
you
that
talk
is.
closer to the mic?
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
I did see your links, and I clicked in on them. This is one that doesn't seem to be translated, and that your power market as well, which has a lot of information on how that process works. So I would just like to see within your organization how we can aid you in getting that translated, just given our population, number one. Number two, with the application, and I think Mr. Edwards alluded to it, is having somebody assist in applying, because sometimes even navigating the online systems can be a challenge. And so even with that application, ensuring that it's bilingual, or that you have some sort of event to apply. In the past, I have worked with CAP in order to have those LIHEAP application events where, we did it in coordination with something else, and then we had people that were trained to help them, apply for that service. So just thinking ahead when you're doing events of maybe training some community volunteers that would help families apply and go through that system so that they can qualify for the program. And then I just would like to connect with you in the future just to give you some ideas of different organizations like our Clean Power Lake County, United Ways 211, and all of those other organizations that can help push people towards this and help you reach your goals. Because Community Action Partners is great, but people are going to go if they qualify for LIHEAP, and this program expands to more than just that. So I will connect with you later on that.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you so much.
And then one more thing, sorry, and Mr. Riddle alluded to it as well, is that the opportunity for students, so not just field trip, but if it's unsafe to do so, but having maybe working with some of our curriculum writers to kind of put together on this is the project in Waukegan, what it looks like, to aid our teachers, or having like a guest teacher for the day or for the lesson to kind of show our kids what's happening locally with clean energy.
I did not expect to be made an honorary teacher in this meeting, but y'all have me excited. One of my best friends is a high school bio teacher, and I'm so stoked to tell him, hey, they've given me your job.
For an hour.
Hey, I got vacancies. Go ahead, Mr. Vukovic.
Well, first thing is what Mr. Riddle and Ms. Fabian have said about the educational component, turn that around on you all. The schools that have solar panels on them now, which was donated to the district, didn't cost the district anything, they all have monitors in the school buildings that were, the intention was for educational purposes. Are you using that for educational purposes? I know you can't answer that right now, but I would hope that you can get me an answer on that. You know, this project, long overdue. I'm glad to see it coming. The district will make money on the rent, any savings on possible electricity. Once the project is complete, I believe you'll have to pay real estate taxes on that stuff that's above the ground because it's considered a leasehold, so the district will make a little bit there. Just asking the developers, are you taking advantage of the state of Illinois sales tax exemption on the solar panels?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's the savings. I know at one point in time the city was applying for the enterprise zone
I'm sorry, Mr.
extension.
Vukovich, really quick, can somebody give him a mic? Because for those that are listening
I've got
online,
one.
Oh, you do? I can barely hear you. Maybe it's me.
Go
It
ahead.
is.
no
It's
worries.
on. At one point in time, the city of Waukegan was looking to extend their enterprise zone, but my understanding is the state law has changed that any solar project is eligible for that exemption now. So hopefully you didn't wait for the city, because I don't think they ever did that.
Final question. Oh, I got one. No, I got two more. So I'm going here because you guys have been waiting patiently, and then I'm coming to you, Ms. Hannah. But yes, final question because this was an hour. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you last word.
I just want to take a minute to introduce myself. I'm the remedial project manager for the U.S. EPA for Yman Creek landfill. EPA approved the design for the solar package, and this is Bob Solak. He's our oversight contractor while all the construction's going on. So.
Yeah. Thanks, Ray. Bob Solak with a company called Hard Hat Environmental. I'm the O&M contractor for the landfill itself, so it's kind of one of my jobs is to oversee the project, make sure it's not impacting the cap or the remedial action in any way, just to make sure we keep that safe and all the hazardous waste that's under there in good stead. So really excited about this. I know this solar project has been a long time coming. I think it was 2016 when I first heard about solar, coming to the landfill. So it's been a long time coming. COVID slowed us down and all that, but it's good news. I wish I could sign up for 50% off my bill, but I don't live in Waukegan, unfortunately. So I hope a lot of you take advantage of this opportunity.
Thank you. Ms. Hannah?
Board President, as long as we have the EPA here, can I just ask him a quick question?
I was going to add to it. It's been an hour.
Well, I know we're spending a lot of time on it, but it's just, we also have, Waukegan has many brownfields, and one of them is huge. And I'm just, as long as you guys are here from the EPA and you guys are here, down John Mansville has had a 400-acre site down just north of our coal-fired power plant that's shut down. That's been remediated. It took 20-some years to do it. They encapsulated the stuff there, but they still have I read that there's 170 acres or so that was basically remediated and could be built on. At one time, the Park District was going to put a soccer field. And I think the land is now owned by the city. What's the possibility, or has anybody looked at remediating that with a solar field? Because it'll never be built on. So it's just a question. I don't know who has to pursue that, but that would be great as well for Waukegan residents if that was a community solar project. When you finish this one, you may want to work on that because it's a terrific area. There was 400 acres down there, and most of it was remediated, and I read that 180 acres, something like that, could be used for certain purposes. They were going to build a soccer field and stuff on it, but that's not going to happen. So this could possibly be used. I just think it's a great area that's laying vacant now. I don't know who would check on that, but probably the EPA guys would get involved, and you guys would have to be involved.
We do that as a comeback, as an opportunity for other sites. So let's get this one.
Yeah, let's
open,
get this
and
one
then
done
we
first.
can-
We'll make sure this one is so successful and so popular
That's it.
that the
Yeah.
demand.
Yeah, we'd love to see some of our other brownfield sites used for our citizens.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, Miss Hannah.
Okay, we got we have.
Mike, Miss Hannah.
Oh. Testing. Okay, seriously. We have a new building, right? And I'm wondering if there has been any conversation with you in reference to putting the solar panels on 214 Washington Street. The building is so high up there, it's always gonna get some sun. So the solar panels up top of the building. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I think the more solar panels, the better. It's not something I can speak to directly, but I think it's a great idea for the school and the city to pursue.
Okay, so I will, I guess, direct that to Associate Superintendent of Operations about that solar panel on 214 Washington Street.
Or the new roof on the high school, Brookside.
Yeah. So thank you for the question, Ms. Hannah. We're always looking for those opportunities based on our properties, since we do have solar at 7 of our sites, as was said earlier. And we'll bring some information back to the superintendent on that.
All right, next item.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
All good stuff. I'm someone who's been critical of the timeline, so I'm happy to see that it's coming to fruition. When we go through these, if you have a question on them, let me know. But I'm gonna call out the letter for the sake of brevity. Community members can ask a question, board members can ask a question. The items are attached. FA, renewal of consumable program 9 through 12 grade ESL materials. B, renewal of 95% core phonics.
We passed,
You talking about, Matana?
where are we in student achievement?
Yes.
What happened to operation?
This was part of the operations meeting because it was first. They had to. Yeah, you good. That should have been. It would have made more sense for that to be in operations.
Well, go ahead.
We didn't go to operations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's 8:30. We still got.
I get it.
We got B, renewal of core 95% core phonics. C, renewal of 95% curriculum embedded coaching for SY26, grades 3 through 5. Chromebook purchase for Crystal Ray St. Martin College Prep.
Question on that, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Earl.
I read through the material, and I understand we're buying 100 Chromebooks, for Crystal Ray, a private school. It's going to benefit, our kids, but why exactly? I still don't quite understand why Waukegan School District has to spend money to buy these Chromebooks, or I know it was agreed upon amount, but can you just explain that to us, why we have to buy materials for a private school in our area?
Sure, absolutely. Good evening, Mr. Riddle, Board President, members of the board, colleagues, community. The funding that is going to be utilized to purchase these Chromebooks is our Title I funding. And because Title I funding is a federally funded grant, it is provided to our district based off of our low-income population. For all students who are within the Waukegan District 60 boundary. Not all Waukegan 60 students who live in Waukegan attend our public schools. And so every year we work with Mr. Nicholas Chin, who helps oversee our Title I fund, and he does several meetings throughout the school year to meet with all of our non-public schools. And because the money is driven by the student and the number of students that we have, whichever school provides the services and education to that student, the money follows the child. And so if there are 5 students who attend a non-public or 15 students that go to St. Annie's, that money per pupil amount is allocated for each of those individual students, and that amount is then set aside for the non-publics to spend on the instructional resources that they deem they need for those students within their program. And so the money from our Title I is student driven. The school individual principals collaborate with our financial team, and they determine what resources are necessary, and then we purchase it through our title funding on their behalf, but the money follows the student.
Okay, and so that's true, Ms. Patty, thank you. That's true then as well with our other private, whether
Yeah,
they be.
any non-public school within the boundary of Waukegan is considered eligible for Title I funding. We are like the gatekeepers or the holders of the initial allocation, but we do work with non-publics to find out how they want to allocate that funding and make purchases.
And in cooperation then with those schools, they decide how best to use
Yep,
that money.
absolutely.
So it might not be for Chromebooks, but it might be for something,
Correct.
other materials. Okay.
Correct.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, item E, E-rate 2025-26 network cabling.
Do we have all of the 214 Washington Street? Are we all done with that cabling and all of the technology at that building?
Just say yes.
Briefly.
The answer is a yes, right?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes, right, okay. And this is just
Answer is
an
yes.
upgrade on our, Dr.
Yes.
Cuevas, these, sorry.
No, I just
Good
asked the
evening. Yes, the answer
question
is
if
yes.
it was completed.
Yes, network cabling for all floors, has been done.
Are we going to be able to be eligible to get E-rates there at that building as well?
No,
Just where there's kids.
E-rate is only for schools where we have students.
Yeah.
And Dr. Cuevas, can I ask a question? Dr. Cuevas, as long as you're up there, these E-rates, network fiber, the connectivity, that's just an upgrade.
That's correct.
That's what we're doing, is trying to improve what we have.
That's correct.
It doesn't last forever, and in one case, we did some new work on Hyde Park, and we just have to, that's a little further down, but
Correct.
We had to make some improvements on that. Okay, thank you.
All right. Item F, purchase of curriculum for grades 6 through 12, Spanish language arts, one-way education for SY 2026. G, renewal of everyday math.
Mr. Ewing, I'm sorry,
Oh,
Mr.
I'm
Edwards has a
sorry.
question.
Whose hand I missed? F, purchase of curriculum. Go ahead, Mr. Edwards. Hold on.
I just want to ask a question. I know this through 6th through 12th grade, but oftentimes I see us buying some things, curriculum things, and it's always in Spanish, right? And I get it, right? But when are we going to start doing something for these English-speaking kids? I have a nephew that's 8 years old. He goes to Glen Flora, and he come home every day, and he always talk about how everything is in Spanish, and he wish he knew how to speak it to communicate with the students up in there. He's probably about 13. It's probably about 13 black kids up in there, y'all. I'm saying this to say, because I see this on here. If this community gonna ever thrive, we got to be able to speak both languages, y'all. And nothing is being given to these English kids to understand their counterparts. Or even most of the teachers who come from a Latin, community, a state, overseas, right? And then y'all think we're making fun, but we're not. We're saying we really don't understand, because this is what our kids is telling us. Right now, I got my sister ready to take us out of this school. I'm just saying, y'all, I know what the president doing with the DEI and all that, and names and everything changed, but we could still be doing something for these black babies. Seriously.
Board President, do you want to comment on that? Or?
I don't. I'll let them. And not because it's super respectful. I think Mr. Edwards is asking a specific question, so I will comment in that he's talking about, you say your nephew was in 3rd grade? Which grade?
He's like in the
First grade. Okay. So we have a dual language program that Ms. Patty can speak to. That's why I said I wouldn't. Now, the issue is it starts in kindergarten. Is that correct? And then it moves up with them. So we do have, and they just did an article in the New Sun.
Yes.
Featuring some of the kids that started in that program. I don't want to speak for it, but we have a board member that also is in that program. So what Mr. Edwards is also saying is, for the kids who aren't in the program, how are they getting access to those type of bilingual services. And even if a parent like my child who is not in the bilingual program wants to be introduced to Spanish, right now the only opportunities they have is in middle school. So I think that's a fair point. I just wanted to say is we do have the dual language program. Yeah, we have it. So, but we have to do a better job of communicating about it. And that was one thing where I give credit to the district, but I also give credit to Ms. Briscoe. And I got to shout out Ms. Hannah, is because they, what was it? We see women as educators. They had a thing. They said they wanted black kids to be, not black kids, all kids, to be exposed to Spanish. And we have every year rolled up our dual language program, which is now through 5th grade. Or is it 4th grade?
5th grade.
Fifth grade at Cook Magnet.
At Cook, so yeah. But we got to make sure more kids know about it.
Oakdale too, right?
I'm sensing an opportunity to advertise
Yes, please
kindergarten
do.
registration.
Yes.
So the two-way dual language program has been at Cook Magnet and has been part of there. And this year we have piloted a two-way dual language program for native English speakers and native Spanish speakers together at Oakdale Pre-K. It is opening up to kindergarten next year. Kindergarten registration is going on right now. Any student that is going to be 5 years old by September 1st, please register for kindergarten. The next open activity event is going to be April 12th at Whittier. When you register for kindergarten for next year, you'll be asked if you want to be part of the two-way dual language program that is tentatively scheduled for Oakdale and Glenwood. It's going to depend on how much interest we get, but we're looking to expand that into kindergarten besides just Cook Magnet to have other schools to have that as well. So please register for kindergarten.
Thank you, Ms. Christensen.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Christian.
And thank you, Mr. Edwards, for the comment.
And I'd just like to piggyback because, again, we are doing what's called piecemealing education. And the students that are going to get it in the pilot, right? That's only one small group of students in relation to the student population.
Fair point.
At that age,
And what I want to
that
say
we're
is,
trying to do.
fair point, Ms. Hannah. I just want to remind the board, and that's one of the conversations for the next board, is one of the issues is staffing. And to have that bilingual and dual language program, it's a hard to staff area. So there has to be investment from the board if that's something that they want to see at every school. So I do want to, I'm trying to get through it.
I know you're trying to get through, but I need to add, it's not just an investment on staffing, it's an investment on the family's ends. If we don't have the equal number of buy-in from the monolingual English-only
absolutely.
speaking families, then we cannot create a
Absolutely.
true dual language
Yeah.
program. And they have
Right.
to be committed to stay throughout the because it's tough the first years, and a lot of our families pull out, because they have to keep rolling up, and they start with heavy on the Spanish. So it's a commitment on both ends.
Yeah. So I think it's not, I want the board, and Ms. Hannah has stressed this a lot about the pilots and expanding it. So I want to be fair that she's not saying anything she hasn't said before. In this specific situation, I want to talk about, like, I probably wouldn't have chosen dual language for my family. So you want to have those options and maintain those options, but expand those opportunities, which is
Right.
what I think the goal is.
That's all I'm asking.
And with that, item G, renewal of everyday math curriculum, embedded coach. I did also want to call out too, when we talk about the Spanish materials, the core phonics materials, those are all for monolingual students, right? There are even things on here, they just usually don't say monolingual explicitly because that is considered to be the normal one. So there are options on here, so we're doing both. We are at E-rate for 25-27 network fiber connectivity. Renewal of Dreambox Learning for K through 5. Go ahead, Ms. Fabian.
Again, just as we're looking at
Can we, Ms. Fabian's mic is really low, so.
Yeah, I feel like I'm screaming. I feel like I can't hear either. So I'm like, so is that better?
That's
Yes.
better. Wow.
Okay. So when we're looking at apps again, and I know Ms. Lensing's not present right now, but it's something that we keep saying, is looking at the student usage so that we can vote appropriately to ensure that these things are being utilized. So thank you for the graph on Dreambox and showing the percentage of students and how much usage there is, so that we know that this money is going to the right place, that's actually being utilized and helpful to our staff.
And the students like Dreambox too. My grandchildren use Dreambox, and they love Dreambox.
If your kids don't have homework, or if you want to work on it with their reading, first thing you can ask them is, have you done your Dreambox? They know what it is. They know how to log in. They use it every day. And that's something, as Ms. Hannah said, it's fun, but it's also educational.
Absolutely.
So just ask them. You don't got to know what it is. Just say, have you done your Dreambox? And if they say no, it allows them to get ahead, and it meets them where they are. So it is a great program. So thank you for the call out, Ms. Hannah and Ms. Fabian. J, updated intergovernmental agreement for college and career navigator at Washington High School campus. Go ahead, Mr. Riddle.
Yeah, I just want to say how pleased I am that we have these that we have a college and career navigator paid for by the College of Lake County. So this is a college career person working for the college, employed by the college, but at our Washington campus. So I'm just thankful that we have this intergovernmental agreement, and that our children have access to that person. Community college, CLC is a wonderful community college, and of course we have a beautiful campus downtown as well. And I'm just pleased that we are collaborating with CLC and have this person available for our students. Thank you.
And can I ask Superintendent? Now they are the college and career navigators, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now we are not moving out any of our staff because we have a very capable college and career individual here, and I just want to make sure that these people aren't going to be replacing her.
Good evening, Superintendent, board members, and community members.
I think they compete when they know. I'm just playing.
We are not moving anybody out there. They've always pretty much been on campus, embedded. They just changed their names throughout the years I've been here. So they are at Washington campus, and be clear, they're at AOEC too. So yes, they're supporting our kids 1 day a week at AOEC, and then 3 days a week at Washington campus. So that's. So
you're not being pushed out?
No.
Nobody is being pushed out right now. No, nobody with CLC. No, we've always had a great partnership with CLC. So.
Thank you.
Mr. Ellis.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't change nothing. I just so happened to be at the city meeting, and the dean of the Lakeshore campus, he gave some stats at the city meeting, and he talked about how the numbers have superseded post-pandemic. And he talked about a lot of our students signing up for some of those classes. So kudos to the team and the work that y'all doing. Please don't stop. Get them babies in college, and let's stop talking about getting them up out of state, and let them try local first so that they can get their feet wet and get the feel of it.
Yeah.
So good job, Ms. Foden.
And shout out to Ms. Foden talking about in the team in CLC, because for the first time we have AOEC students that are participating in dual enrollment with the College of Lake County. So I think that was important. I think it needs to be recognized, and we need to shout out the students who are taking that initiative. And I know there's a lot of controversy around the credits, but sometimes this is what it allows also, is to give those students those additional opportunities where they can earn college credit. And they're doing well, right?
Yeah, and I just do want to shout out the team and the support we do have with Amanda's not here tonight, but Amanda and then the team that I do have. I have a awesome, great team. I mean,
Call their
I
names,
really,
'cause they gonna be getting on that bus with those
appreciate
kids
them. Cecilia over at Washington campus, Melissa goes over at AOEC, Jalil Shepherd over at Brookside, and then I have a middle school person, Destiny, that's been rocking it at the middle school. So we've been able to support taking the kids to CLC in elementary this year. We took like 80 kids from North. We're doing the Carmen Buckner in a few weeks over at Carmen Buckner. She's been doing a lot of lunch and learns at the middle school. So I have been fighting for this, y'all know, forever, for college and career managers or more college and career support. And they've been it's been a lot of less stress on me and relieve. I can go and do other things.
So you don't have to be on the bus for
I
spring
don't
break?
have to do any. I don't have to drive the bus no more. I don't have to go on the, all the trips anymore. They've been awesome. So I just want to give kudos to them, what they're doing and how they've been helping a lot of the students in need that we have. So.
And so they're 100%. Yep.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
100% Waukegan grads.
All
and
Waukegan grads I was able to hire, and that's awesome. And I have to say this, and I'm not from Waukegan, and I hired all Waukegan grads. So.
Yes, you did.
You're from
So
Waukegan, we
super
adopted
important, and I think it's great because we talk about those opportunities, like Mr. Edwards called out, local exposure. But then we also have the HBCU tour where Jalil will be there with some of our students, and then we have some students that are going to Michigan and other areas as well. So being intentional about making sure that there are opportunities that exist here in our community and opportunities for our students that may want to go away and have that different experience. And so I appreciate your group for developing those opportunities and relationships for those teams. Ms. Fabian?
And then real quick, also, the fact that we're not just looking at college, but that we're also looking at career and promoting that. Thank you again for putting that into AOEC as well, because I've had to have that fight often. So I just appreciate all the work that you do and the understanding that college may not be for all of our children, and that's okay, and providing those opportunities as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we are now gaggle contract.
Okay.
Ms. Fabian has a
Just real quick on the gaggle, because I don't see any reports, and I don't know if there's I know what it does, and I don't know if there's any other like applications, like have we compared to see if, like how accurate it is? Is it catching everything? Are there other apps that may be better or not?
Dr. Cuevas here can answer much more robustly, but Gaggle alerts provide a great deal of information on a daily basis to principals and assistant principals, and so I know that it is a very effective application to help us know when students need support and flagged language to help us make sure that they are being safe. Dr. Cuevas can speak more about it.
Sure. So Gaggle is our monitoring tool, not only for the students, but also for all staff. So there is a 24/7 help desk of human beings that are monitoring keywords. Anything that is stored in Google Drive or any email communication, Gaggle is monitoring those communications. And it's been working fine for us.
Good.
Thank you. Next up is the renewal of SOFO's endpoint contract. I'll remind you, Ms. Ann, after this meeting. All right, we got item M, the renewal of Nutanix contract.
Keep going.
Did I pronounce that right?
So the renewal of Nutanix is basically, this is a software renewal for our main distribution frame. So we have one MDF here at Lincoln Center. We have a second MDF at Brookside campus. In the case of an emergency, natural disaster that we need to fail over from one network to another one, this solution will allow us to do that.
I remember seeing that secret room, but and I just didn't know the name of it.
That's
So
one of the
thank you,
solutions.
Yeah.
All right, item N, renewal of Power School evaluation platform for 25-26. All right, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Riddle, seconded by
Second.
Mr. McBride.
Thank you.
All in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Meeting is adjourned. I need 5 minutes, and then we gonna go with our next meeting.
Get through that next one quickly.
No, we got to do operation. We still have operation.
Lord have mercy, thank you, Jesus. Pray for me. Oh, you as a visitor?
Yeah, you know, I go to Progressive now, so I've been in Chicago.
That is your church.
WCC was my church.
Where you at now?
Progressive. On
gonna stay back. I'll make sure you train on the right track.
Y'all gonna support Juneteenth? All right. Y'all gonna support Juneteenth? They don't. I don't even co-participate in Juneteenth.
Sure. I mean, you just gotta tell me what's going on. And what the
township is doing now too.
Oh, you talking about the township? No, the township is doing it. Yeah, but you gotta tell what do you...
All right, y'all. Okay.
All right, y'all.
All right, y'all. Hey, that Mississippi come out every once in a while. I'd like to call to order the March 18th, 2025 Waukegan Public School Operations Committee meeting, if I can, Operations Services Committee meeting, if I can have a roll call.
Ms. Gonzalez, Mr. Riddle, Mr. McBride,
Yes.
Ms. Hannah,
Yes.
Ms. Lensing, Ms. Fabian, and President Ewing.
Yeah, yes. So we do have all the board members present with the exception of Lensing and Fabian for the record. Lensing and Gonzalez for the record. We have 5, which is a quorum. 3A, approval of meeting minutes for the February 18th, 2025 OSC meeting.
Motion to approve with a couple amendments, very minor, and I will pass those over to the
Motion to
secretary.
approve with technical amendments and corrections. Any comment, any other, do we got a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Fabian. Roll, all in favor signify with aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Minutes are approved. We have, these are all information, and so the same as we talked about with the other session, we're gonna go through them. I'll call the letter. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand and wait to be called on by the chair. Item 5A, facility use manual revision recommendation, funeral request. Mr. Sabecki has a question.
Yeah, and I do too, with that funeral.
Good evening.
I got you. Just talk right into it, Mr. Sabecki. It's
All right. So one thing, reading the recommendation, one thing I would like to see changed is it says if you're a teacher and that within 5 years. I'd like to see it changed. If someone dedicated their life 30 years to this school district and they're expecting a big crowd and they dedicated their lives to the district and the children, that should be waived. It shouldn't matter how many years they've been in the district. I think that part should be waived.
I want to make sure I got you. Under point 1, it says that at the time of the death or within 5 years. Which one are you looking at? You don't have it in front of you?
It is that first one. That's what I was looking at too.
And that's 5 years after they leave. What you're saying is you would want to remove. It doesn't matter if they pass 10 years after they leave.
Yeah,
we should say
the
that.
district, say 15 years, but they dedicated 30 years of their life to this district, and they want to have a funeral here.
Here, right.
We should be waiving it.
Fair. I just wanted to make sure that was
Yeah,
the point. So we can
that's
capture it.
what that's what I'm talking
And
about.
if I can piggyback on that,
He's saying we should.
while we're talking about it,
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
But into the mic.
Okay, when I was reading this, the first thing that came to my mind was individual like Larry Tempest. And he was in the school, prominent figure in Waukegan, driver, a whole thing. But but here, all of that stuff has been taken out and removed. And I can't support it how it is written, because you have basically wiped out the possibility of our community people being able to use the facility if need be. I mean, they can, of course, anybody can come and apply for the usage, the waiver, but if we approve this, you have basically kind of taken away the possibility of a person like Eleanor Murphy, who would maybe have over 200-300 people at their final ceremonies. So we need to look at this again.
Yeah, I think we want recommendations. I do want to remind the board why this is coming forward is because we had a funeral and the administration was tasked with coming with some suggestions. At the end of the day, if you disagree with anything that's on there, you can ask them to go ahead and change it. The hour is late, so I'm going to remind the board of brevity. Mr. Riddle?
Yes.
And then I'll give Ms. Fagan.
Yeah,
I'm
first
sorry.
off, I do think this whole policy needs to be looked at, the facilities use manual and the policy, because, for instance, any of these funeral services, the individuals do not fall under the rental categories. If you look on the, category, it's always talking about groups, nonprofit or taxing organizations. It does not talk about individuals at all.
Yeah.
So there's no category. There's 5 categories here, but none of them speak to an individual. So I know we have approved funerals in the past, but that was of recent history. So this thing would have to be reworked. And then if we want to use that, somebody might ask the question, well, your funerals, you're gonna use your building for funerals. What about for weddings? What about for quinceañeras? So I think you need to think about that. But you first off have to add another category. You have 5 classifications. Classification 1 is school affiliations. This, I think, is going to be a larger conversation.
Yeah. So
And
if you
it
guys
was
don't
good-
want to have that conversation tonight, I'm good with it.
You want-
Like
Yeah,
I
do
said,
we wanna have it? It's
I'm
it's
great
after
with it.
9
I want
tonight.
Miss Fabian to get hers
But-
out, and I just want to remind
Then
is
we'll just hold this.
we will. It was they were bringing it forward because the board asked for it, and if they didn't bring it forward, we say we didn't see it. So I want to call out the administration being responsive to a request, and us saying that all right, we can't go into the detail with it tonight. I'm gonna go to Ms. Fabian, and then I see it.
And I would suggest that we do email those
Suggestions.
to you, the suggestions, because I agree. I think we need to look at a career educator and a notable alumni, because we also have alumni that contribute back and have donated back. And individuals are covered because it would be the regular fee. They wouldn't fall under nonprofit. They wouldn't fall under those exceptions, so they would just have to pay the regular fee. What we would have to decide is that if they are an individual, would we qualify them to do the waiver, and what would that look like? So when we're doing our recommendations, I think that's another thing that you just need to think through of what does that look like.
Right.
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
Ms.
So,
Taylor?
so, Board President, what you're asking is we can put our suggestions to yourself and the superintendent. and
if
then
you're comfortable with it,
we
could
can
it
discuss
be me
it.
and LeBaron?
I'm fine with that. And we'll just hold this and come back with it, like you
Yes,
said, Ms.
that
Hannah.
sounds great, because I think it's a bigger conversation.
Yeah, I just I wanted to. LeBaron's been working on this with his team, and so to just make it a little bit easier so he can compile everything. Go ahead, Mr. Edwards.
Just real brief. If you board members would actually talk to your constituents, talk to the people and see how the people feel about this, I think writing this up would be so much easier. Just getting out there, having these small town halls to see how the community feel about this thing. But the other thing is this. I hope when we talk about this that we're not waiving it completely. Fees, right?
Right.
Because then the district have to cover some of that cost.
Right.
And that's money we're taking away from these babies, y'all.
Right.
That's it.
Along with that, I'd asked previously in a meeting, and I don't know if that's available yet, but I asked that the board, and I think the board concurred, we have this very elaborate fee schedule. How many organizations actually pay anything? Because it seems like we waive everything except for the Lake County Community Concert. And I remember asking the question, who besides them has paid anything? And how much have we collected this past year, in 12 months? How much was collected? I think that we could.
What does that
back
fall
with
under,
that.
Ms. Polk? I'm sorry. No, I know it falls under operations, but it's not in one of these funds for the people that pay? Money that's collected? Understood. So for those that didn't hear, for those that pay, everybody, if they're not, and I'm sorry if we can have crosstalk, for everybody that does pay, that doesn't come before the board. They just show up, they pay the fee. So to Mr. Riddle's point, if somebody did want to do a quinceañera, if they weren't asking for a facility rental use case and they went and they paid to use the facility, we have individuals that rent parking lots, we have people that pay us rent, and to Ms. Polk's point, that money is put into the education fund and it's there. It's just money that goes into it. And then we have, because we wanted to streamline the process, and I always go back to, it's two things that I have to say, and then I promise I'm gonna shut up. Sometimes when we try and be more transparent, we create more confusion where I tell everybody, everybody keeps saying, well, y'all keep expelling kids. No, these are kids that should have, because of statute, automatically come before the board. And for whatever reason, it wasn't. When it was brought to our attention and we looked at the language and I said, these are mandatory expulsions, it doesn't mean that they should be expelled, but it means that they have to go through the process. And it's the similar thing. We've had people that were using our facilities at will, showing up on fields and all of those things, but they didn't have the proper insurance permits. They didn't have what it was that they needed. And so now that we say, all right, we just want to know that you're there, people go, we're doing too many of them. We've been doing them. We just didn't have a process for tracking them. So I want to make sure that as we do this, like, we don't say, oh, it's too many. No, I think we give a good amount of facility use waivers. We do want to have some parameters and boundaries around it, but you're going to see them, because if we have 50 sports teams, you know, that are coming forward, I wouldn't say that we shouldn't waive those fees. Now, maybe, to your point, Mr. Riddle, you've been a big proponent of pay to staff, but if we have to have janitors and things,
right.
But a lot of times they got to be there anyway, which is what LeBaron is saying. So it's better for the building to be used as opposed to it for us to be paying it and the community not benefiting. So this is one of those funeral ones, and I see you, Mr. Edwards, that I don't mind it, but I understand why some taxpayers may not, and that'll be up to the next board to decide how they want to treat it. Go ahead.
I'm glad you said insurance and something to put on y'all plate. So like, you do a community event and we rent the facility, you're requiring me to have insurance. I get that, but if I am hiring a vendor, so to speak, like the Juneteenth event we did, that vendor have insurance. And if that vendor is going to be on the ground the entire time I'm there, why am I being requested to have insurance also if my vendor have it? It's the same thing. Something you guys need to look at, because when I had spoke to LeBaron, me and him spoke about this before, and he said that I would need insurance. I said, but my vendor will have insurance, who will be on the grounds from the time the event start, from setup until we leave.
And that may be just an explanation as what type of insurance, because to your point is, if like what we do is we ask for a certificate of insurance that has us listed as
additional insured.
And so if you, when asked for that, produce it, it's going to go to LeBaron. They're going to view it to make sure that it's listed the right way. But that would be your insurance that you're submitting for the organization. But just because BCU, to your point, has insurance, if I just show up and although we have business insurance and I'm operating on the grounds, you couldn't use my insurance unless the school was listed as an additional insured. So I have to do that a lot, even with BCU, when I do community events, to like workforce development. When I have them come on our site, I have to amend my insurance paperwork in order to have them cover it. So that's something that we can make sure that we do a better job of explaining, because I think sometimes it's who's the person requesting it and then who is the entity that's putting on the event. So like when we go for the city with Juneteenth, that's all under the England Manor. So it's using her EIN, it's her insurance, all of that is through her, just as an example.
And just for an FYI, so all of you guys to know this, most of the vendors with the bouncy houses, it's a small fee to have someone added on. Most of the times it's $50 to $100, and then it will put the entity on the insurance for the year. Instead of just that event, it'll be for the year.
Thank you. Miss, is your hand up? Sorry, Ms.
Yeah,
Mayor.
just real quick, because I know it came out before, and to Mr. Riddle's point, is we only see the waivers. We don't approve when they're actually paying. So maybe, I thought it was Mr. Riddle that asked for a presentation to have, if we could have a total for the year of what income was generated from rentals. And I think that will kind of help clear up the confusion that we're not waiving everybody that comes through. We just don't see them here presented at the board.
Yeah. All right. Item B, attendance at the 2025 National Association of Social Work Conference. The individuals are listed. C, purchase of operations fleet vehicles.
Question on that, sir.
Go ahead, Ms. Riddle.
Okay, I know we have some new or newer transit vehicles that are used for our food service. operation stuff, but here we're getting 3 new Ford Transits. Could I just ask clarification as to what those are going to be used for?
Just use the mic back there, Tim.
Let me see if it works.
It works. It's good.
Those, the transits that we're asking for are going to be used for the trades, the plumbers, the
Oh, the
HVACs.
trades. Okay.
Correct.
That explains it. Thank you, sir.
And
No
what's
problem.
gonna happen with the older vehicles?
We will still have them on the fleet.
I asked, what are we going to do with the other vehicles that we already have?
Sure, we're going to still keep them on the fleet. There are 3 right now that we potentially are going to put on auction because they're the older vehicles that we currently have, the oldest vehicles that we currently have.
Everybody good?
Uh-huh.
All right. D, Network Technology Innovations Payment for Hyde Park Elementary Main Entrance Project.
That's my question.
That's your question?
Oh, no, not
All right.
Hyde Park.
Washington Campus Retaining Wall Replacement Supplemental Architect Fees.
Yeah. Oh,
Go ahead, Ms. Tanner.
Mr. Moulton, this is another change.
Mike, Ms. Hannah.
Oh, and I pulled it up because I was.
Go ahead, Ms. Hannah.
This is another change order. Which one was the change order? Because I know about that wall. It was about the wall and the architect fees that were not added into the original specs.
Was that at Abbott?
It's the retaining wall.
Yeah, so Ms. Hannah, if we could clarify, Mr. Burner can back me up. So we brought forward change orders 1 and 2 for this project. This is not a change order. After the last discussion, we went back through all of the pending summer 2024 projects. We did identify on the change orders that were recently approved, there was a percentage associated with architect fees for them to draw the documents to support that construction. So that's what this is, this $13,000.
And how come it wasn't put in on the original? That's what I'm asking. How come it was not put in the original cost? Because, I mean, there had to be an architect.
Yes.
And you knew, why was the architect the last to be put in? They do the designs and all of that. And so I just don't understand how this was this was an oversight.
Sure.
Is this is this related to the concern that was brought to the board in closed session with some of these change orders?
It is related, and we thought we had it at the February 11th board meeting. But Ms. Hannah, if I could help clarify. So the architect has been part of this project from day one.
Right.
Their percentage fee is identified here as 9% of the construction cost. So based on the base bid, we budgeted as part of that project the 9% on the bid price that we originally brought to the board to approve. When we came back with the change orders, they had to recreate construction documents for the contractor to do the work. So the additional change order amount of around $101,000, we're being charged a percentage on that as well. And we failed to bring that forward with the change order information in February. So this is for the percentage architect fee on the additional construction work, not the base work.
So they got paid twice.
It's additional for the additional
I
work
understand,
the
but-
district they did for the district.
You know that I be knowing what I'm talking about, right? And so I just don't. It's not piecing together. Okay, the specifications, all of that is laid out. Okay, and so now we had 2 change orders for this project. Okay, that's problematic to me anyway, because that was something that should have been in the original. And so because for whatever reason it didn't get there, you all are asking us to pay more money. And that's kind of the bottom line. All of the dynamics and all of that stuff, y'all deal with that. I'm talking about we are now having to pay more money.
So, Ms. Hannah, Ms. Polk would like to make a comment, but before she does, I would like to remind the board that part of this additional scope is not necessarily an oversight by the architect. Some of it was requested by the district as additional work to the bid amount. So, go ahead, Ms. Polk.
What normally happen, a board president, board members, superintendent, colleagues, community, what normally happens, because we have authority at a particular financial level, we cannot pay it, even if it comes in a little over. It has a contingency, but if it comes over, we cannot pay it until we get the additional board authority. And so we're tracking that very closely, and we're bringing back those board agenda items, not as though it's overpayments or anything like that, but we're bringing it back even if it's $1,000, because we do not have the authority to pay it.
Right, I understand that, but you all are understanding what I'm saying, Mr. Moulton. You're understanding what I'm saying, right?
So I understand where you're coming from, Ms. Hannah, but I think that there's still a little bit of a disconnect. So I just want to restate what I said earlier. We bid this project. Associated with the project is a percentage that goes to the architect.
Right.
The district engaged in conversations with the architect to add scope to the work. So when they created drawings, drawings for the contractor to do the additional work, there's an additional percentage associated with that. We brought for additional percentage for the architect. We brought forward the change orders that the contractors and the work they did, but we failed to bring back, as we identified upon further review, that additional percentage fee for the architect, for them to do that additional design work.
That's all I'm saying.
And this now puts us above the authority, as Ms. Polk mentioned, so we're coming to the board, and this will close out this project.
So, go ahead, Ms. Fagan.
Just to clarify, the price went up, so the percentage due goes up. But it was on us that it wasn't, or on admin staff that did not bring it. But everything has been completed, and this is the last. I hope that we can bury this now.
Yes, the team has reviewed this.
Just
Mr.
to make sure that we don't
Ms.
find
Polk and her team.
something else later again.
We went back through multiple projects, and this is one that we needed to bring back.
And that's the thing, is that I want to be clear. It wasn't the original bid. It was that we asked for additional scope.
Yes, that's correct.
All right.
And if I'm correct, part of that was the fact that as they uncovered more, there was more to do. You don't necessarily know when you start a project what you're going to run into, especially with old buildings.
That is a good excuse, but look, the tunnel.
Yes.
You can't hear.
Wasn't like we was building
Ms. Hannah, your mic.
I'm done.
All right. AWC security camera and equipment upgrade. Washington campus security installation request, Mr. Sabecki.
So I'm just going to group both of these together just for an example. When we talk about this for the community, because we can only see so much. So me looking at this for, I'm going to use Washington campus, where I look at it, it says one axis camera, $2,130. Now you flip over to Brookside, it says one access camera, $5,256. Me as a community member looking at that, because obviously I don't get the brand and everything, it's concerning because to me that's the same camera. Why is there a $3,000 difference? You know, and I talked to Mr. Wilson, is like when we present this, because the public isn't given this information, I ain't asking for brands and stuff. It's just to be clarified, these are different, totally different cameras, multi-function, or, you know, different uses for the community's sake, because looking at that as a community member is like, to me, it's the same camera is the way I'm reading it, but it's $3,000 difference. And then the other one on there under Brookside campus also, these all say they're replacement cameras, and I like to see like the conduit material, the equipment, and structured cabling, it's all grouped together with one price. It should be separated, because obviously if they're replacement cameras, the conduit and that's already there. If you're replacing it, you're pulling the old wire out and running the new cat wire through the same conduit. You know, if there's gonna be some additional conduit, it should be broken down to different categories to show the actual pricing of those categories, because that's vague. Reading that again as a community member, it looks like all the conduits being redone, and there's nothing wrong with it. They're replacement cameras, they're going in the same spots. So I'd like to see that broken down and separated.
Afraid somebody's cheating. You know, they're afraid. They're not doing a good job.
Next up is that was the Brookside. So does anybody have any questions about Brookside? I know Mrs. Sabecki talked about both. All right, and we got I, the architect of record, requests the statement of qualifications and statement of interest.
Now, when is that going to start? I mean,
Mike, Ms. Hannah.
when are you advertising for this for the architect of record?
So, Ms. Hannah, our tentative dates for this would be March 24th to April 21st.
And so are you going to hold an informational for potential architects?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. So there would be so this would be consistent with what's been done in the district about 7 years ago and 8 years ago in 2017. We would have a non-mandatory information session. The last time the district went through this, we invited 22, but we had it posted for the public, and we received proposals from 14, which we narrowed that down ultimately to 3. So we would have the same type of engagement, and even though it's not mandatory for those to come out to the informational session, we would hope they would come out, particularly if they've never worked in our district before.
Absolutely.
All right,
Board President?
I got Mr. Vukovic, and then I come to you, Mr. Riddle.
My first question is, how many architects or architectural firms are working for the school district at this time or over the last couple of years?
So currently the district has 3 architects of record. That's Wold Architects, STR Partners, and Archon Associates.
I mean, I remember last year that the school board paid a $60,000 settlement to a local architect that I don't ever remember the board voting on. It's just kind of strange, and he's deceased now, but you know, I don't know where that came from. But if you hire somebody, I certainly hope that they're going to be aware of Illinois laws and that kind of thing, because I've brought to this board's attention, and just at the last meeting, and the board president just told me that there's going to be some changes there at the Brookside campus, that there were installation of gates that are against the city of Waukegan code, but they were still put up. When that parking lot was built at that same location, it took an individual, me, to file a complaint because you didn't have handicap parking spaces there. Architect, somebody should have known that when they designed it. Hyde Park Elementary School, you put a new driveway in there and a bus turnaround, which was sorely needed, but the second day of school, the buses are going over the curb on the sidewalk that had just been poured because it was too tight and they had to come back in and rebuild it. Is that the architect? Somebody needs to be held accountable for it. Now, I keep hearing that the schools don't have to follow city code and that kind of thing. Let me read something here to you. In 2013, Crystal Lake High School built new large bleachers without city permission, leading to a lawsuit from homeowners who claim the bleachers violated local zoning. The Illinois Supreme Court ordered that those bleachers be torn down. So you guys better hire somebody that's going to protect you, because at some point you're going to have a citizen's lawsuit on one of these projects, and it's going to cost everybody.
That's right.
Thank you, Mr. Fukush. Mr. Riddle?
Just a quick technical thing, but I just want to make sure that the letter that's going to be sent out, the request for qualifications dated March 24th, where second paragraph down where it says school district background, it lists 5 middle schools and it identifies Webster and Jefferson. Could we change the names to Lewis and Edith Smith?
Yes, we'll do that, Mr. Riddle.
All right, thank
This proposal is still what's currently being used by Illinois districts. We did use this in 2017. This is a draft. We'll be making some additional tweaks to it before it's released. But we did want to share the information so you can see the scope of what the architects will be reviewing.
All right, that is it. Okay.
Mr. Becky?
All right, I have 2 things. One, we talk about these architects. We pay them to do a job in that too. And we need to make sure, if you guys don't remember, earlier this year, or it might have been last year, when we had the problem over at Brookside when all the hoods in the kitchens were done and they were not up to code. They were supposed to have access panels cut into them. So these architects that we're paying for a job, someone needs to make sure that the work's being done correctly and it is up to code. And the second thing, on Ray Vukovic's things, also against city code is all these 40 and 60 and 80 foot storage containers that we have all over the district, and that we hang banners and that from over at Weiss Field and that's also all against city code to have those on the properties without permits. Just because you hang a banner from them don't mean they're legit. There's even sign ordinances within the city. We need to make sure all those are being followed.
To the incoming board, something that I attempted and failed, intergovernmental, not just agreement, but actually, or whether it be 2 aldermen, 2 board members, the city staff, and the board, but there should be consistent communication. And although we are 2 distinct taxing bodies, most of our taxpayers pay taxes to both the city and the school district. Notice I did not say all, and that has been a point of contention with the current administration. But Waukegan has over 16,000 students who attend Waukegan Public Schools. The vast majority of the majority awards do go to Waukegan Public Schools, so it is important. So to both of your points, I do acknowledge them. And while there is onus on the school district, there also has to be communication at City Hall. And as seen even with the SRO conversation, sometimes communication, and I'm saying it, the administration's not, so I won't be here. Sometimes the current administration has not always seen themselves as a partner in that way. So with that, we have spring break meal distribution. Thank you to all of those who helped organize it.
Right.
And then we have the treasurer's report. Are there any questions there? Student activity and convenience account, bank reconciliation. Then hold tight for the schedule of investments. The economy is going crazy, so I'm sure we are in consistent contact and communication with our investment fund provider.
Yeah, and I would like to ask, Mr. President, just a quick question. Are the well, you call it volatility, right?
Mm-hmm.
The volatility of the market, how has that impacted our investments? You don't have to, I mean, if you want to answer right now, or you could just kind of give us a report at a.
It's in their schedule of investments. So if you click in the list, it kind of speaks to it. But if you want to give a general, just very general,
By statute, we have to invest and secure instruments. And so if you notice on that report, we're locked in at certain percentages as long as we don't cash it in, right? And so you'll notice that the current value is lower than what we've invested, lower than the 10 million. But we've often shared with the board that this money that we have there, we haven't had to use it, right? So we have no intentions on pulling it before it matures.
Right, and so but my question is, does it fluctuate up and down with the market?
It does, but it only impacts us if we pull it out early.
Yeah.
And we have no intentions on doing that.
Okay.
let it sit. All right, with that, a motion to adjourn.
So Yes. moved.
Motion by Mr. Riddle, seconded by Mr. McBride. All in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Meeting is adjourned.